It is the Steelers Talk mailbag here in Week 14. I am your host, Jack Sperry. And you, the Steelers fans, have put in a bunch of questions this week about the black and gold after losing to the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football. It's definitely a dark time here in Steelers Nation, and I'm here to address your concerns and answer your questions. Before I get into those, go ahead and click that subscribe button today to join the most interactive Steelers YouTube community here on YouTube. We have 2 live shows per week. We give you guys opportunities to get your voice heard here on the mailbags every single week. Also, we have the watch party every single week as well, where we have a bunch of community engagement. We have the largest Steelers community, watch party community here on YouTube. It's all 100% free. So if you want to join our family today and talk some Steelers with us 24/7, 365, you'll click that subscribe button right now. Got a $5 super chat from my man Soapy Nugget. What's up, Soapy? Says, we need someone who can actually snap the ball. I am so sick and tired of Mason Cole, and I want him gone so bad. Absolutely, man. Mason Cole is going to get replaced this year. And by the way, I remember last offseason, I had the Steelers drafting a center in one of my mock drafts, and I got absolutely crucified by Steelers fans saying there's no way we can replace Mason Cole, because he was so good last year, apparently. And I was like, he was okay. He was a starter-capable player in 2022. But before that, he was a really bad center. So I was worried that he was going to regress to the mean here in 2023, and he did, unfortunately. So he's terrible. He's one of the worst snappers of the football in the league. It's always low, which makes things really difficult for the quarterback, especially because the Steelers are always in shotgun formation, it seems like. So Mason Cole, hot garbage, needs to be replaced, whether that be through the draft or in free agency. Then we got one from Nico here. Says, should we fire Teryl Austin? The defense has actually been the bright spot here for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I don't think that you fire Teryl Austin. I think the bigger issue, obviously, is the offense here. I mean, this defense, yes, they gave up 21 points in the first half last night, but one of those was a touchdown given up on a short field thanks to a Mitch Trubisky interception. And then the other two, you obviously don't want to give those up, but Damontae KZ had a rough first half. Mykal Walker had a tough first half. But overall, when this team is healthy and this defense is healthy, I mean, it's really, really good. TJ Watt's awesome. Alex Highsmith is awesome. Joey Porter Jr. is a budding star. I don't think that they're going to replace Teryl Austin. I think more likely they're going to clean shop on the offensive side of the ball, and I think that's where their focus should lie. Then we got one from Jack Rainman here. He says, if or when the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin at the end of the year, who should the team look to for their next head coach? So, Jack, I like your name, man, but, I don't know, man. I just don't see the Steelers moving on from Mike Tomlin. I think the way Art Rooney is thinking about this here is that here's a head coach that has never had a losing season. All right, he's won a Super Bowl for us. He's kept us afloat, kept this team afloat despite some really big issues over the last several years, right? Big Ben aging, getting hurt, bringing in Kenny Pickett, and this offense just sucking up. And now, obviously, Mike Tomlin has a role to play in all of that. He hired Matt Canada. He decided to draft Kenny Pickett. All those things are granted. But then you get into this year, and you're sitting at 7-4, and then all of a sudden your starting quarterback gets hurt, Matt Canada gets fired, and it's just a whole mess right now. And I think that Art Rooney's going to give Mike Tomlin another shot. So I really don't think he's going to get fired, guys. I wouldn't hold my breath if you're a Steelers fan that wants Mike Tomlin to be fired this year. If we stink next year, then I think we can start talking about that. But for all those people out there that want Mike Tomlin fired, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you want to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? If you think Mike Tomlin sucks, tell me who's going to be better for today's pinned comment here on the show. YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, tell me who you think should be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we got one from William here. It says, who do you think would be a good OC candidate? So personally, I would love Eric Bieniemy, the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator. I really like his offensive structure. I think Sam Howell, who was a fifth-round rookie quarterback, or second-year quarterback drafted in the fifth round, first year starting, has looked pretty decent, actually. Also, I would love somebody in the Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay tree. Zach Robinson, the quarterback's coach there in L.A. Chris Forster, the run game coordinator in San Francisco. Darrell Bevel, the QB coach in Miami. I think any of those guys would be excellent fits. And then I think if you can get a quarterback that can execute that type of system exceptionally well, then I think the Steelers could be in business here, especially with the talent that they have at the skill positions here in Pittsburgh. Now, before we get into the rest of today's show, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Factor Meals. This holiday season, you might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help you fuel up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all your holiday to-dos. Too busy with holiday plans to cook but want to make sure you're eating well? Well, with Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and all the chopping and the prepping and the cooking and all the cleaning up as well, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. This holiday season, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door, ready in just 2 minutes with no prep and no mess. Head on over to factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 and use code SteelersChat50 to get 50% off Factor Meals today. That's code SteelersChat50 at factormeals.com/SteelersChat50 to get 50% off Factor Meals today. Then we got one from Sean here. He says, I think we should just miss the playoffs and just move on. I think it's for the better for the way this season has panned out. It's going to be hard to compete against these good AFC teams. Now, I mean, I sympathize with this, Sean. I really do. I mean, you feel like this season is over. We just lost to 2-10 teams in a row at home. It doesn't really feel like even if we make the playoffs that there's a Super Bowl chance. But if the Steelers literally try to lose from this point forward, Mike Tomlin immediately loses the locker room. You have to realize here that when it comes to an NFL locker room, you're dealing with human beings here that are risking their physical well-being and their mental well-being, for that matter, to play this game. And if an organization just goes out there to try and lose and just try to miss the playoffs and just try to get the best draft position possible, you're immediately going to lose the respect of those players in your locker room. And I think that's why Mike Tomlin, as a head coach, will never, ever, ever embrace tanking. And I think that's a good thing. I want a head coach that wants to win every single game, no matter what. And that's what we have here in Pittsburgh. And that is the Pittsburgh Steelers culture. All right? It is a winning culture here where we're always going to try to win. Will we win these games here in the next 4 games? I don't know. All right? I don't know if the quarterback play is going to be good enough, to be quite frank with you. But I know for sure that this team is going to do their best to make it to the playoffs. And if they do, that will be an accomplishment. Now, will they win the Super Bowl? No. But what that'll tell me is that even with the terrible quarterback play, this team was still a playoff team, which means they're right there. They get the right quarterback and offensive coordinator, will be in business in 2024. All right, now we get one from eMan47. It says, what QBs could the Steelers sign to replace Mitchell Trubisky for the rest of the year? Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, dare I say Tom Brady? I wouldn't hold my breath, guys. It's so late into the season. Matt Canada's offense has completely different terminology than pretty much every other offense in this league. It'd be one thing if it was a Shanahan-style offense where they had the same kind of verbiage, but that's not the case here in Pittsburgh. So Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, these guys have been out of football for the entire year. I really don't see them being options right now. I think your options are Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Trace McSorley. Whether you like it or not, I think that's the reality. So share your take down there in the comments section. Should the Steelers sign a quarterback in NFL free agency? And if you have a quarterback in mind, let me know down there in the comments section. And I better not see any Colin Kaepernicks down there in the comments. All right, so now we got another one from William here. He says, who do you think would be... Wait. Oh, okay, so this one's from earlier. William says, who do you think would be a good OC candidate? And then I don't even know how to... Coop's cheering in the background. I don't even know how to pronounce this, but Antonio Brown for OC. Hell no. Next question. We got Damian Roy up next. He says, put the equipment manager in at starting quarterback at this point. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky looked like the equipment manager last night. That's all I'm going to say to that, man. Quarterback play was not good enough last night. you got to go with something new in Week 15 to at least try and make something stick here in Pittsburgh, in my opinion. Then you got Young Noticeable 25. Says, please call Rooney and tell him to rent a bus and send Mitch, Wallace, Cole, Peterson, and Chucks on it. I guess we could use Kenny as a backup. I mean, yeah, there's been some disappointing players for the Steelers this year. Patrick Peterson, Levi Wallace, Mason Cole, all these guys that you mentioned. But definitely, I think that the talent here definitely outweighs the disappointments, which is encouraging for the future. That's the thing. That's kind of the theme of the day here, is that I want Steelers fans to remain hopeful here, because I really do think that there's a ton of talent here, and we're one good offseason away from really getting back to competing for Lombardi trophies yet again. All right, so go ahead and like today's video. If you are a Steelers Talk Real one, if you are staying positive about the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, do us a favor, man. Help out the channel. Do your part here and like today's video. Then we got one from Leighton Baines here. He says, do you think Pickett will be the starting quarterback for the Steelers in 2024? It's a good question, man. I've done a lot of videos on this over the past week, so Leighton, I would say go and check us out here over the last couple days or so, the videos that we put out. But there's things that I like about Kenny, and there's things that I don't, man. Like the things that make me optimistic are Matt Canada's offense sucks. All these different things are happening. The offensive line isn't where it needs to be. And he's actually kept the interceptions down. And the 6 quarters that he was away from Matt Canada was the best 6 quarters that he's played in his career. So those are the positives, but the negatives are there's so many things on tape that just have nothing to do with play calling and are on the quarterback, like pocket presence and, accuracy and all these different things, red zone efficiency, which does have a little bit to do with the play calling. But, I mean, Kenny Pickett is not a good red zone quarterback. It's tough, man. This is going to be a tough decision for the Steelers. I don't envy Omar Khan. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. What's the % chance that Kenny Pickett is the Steelers' quarterback 1 for the 2024 season? I'll put it at a 75% shot at this point. I think that, I see something as kind of likely is they keep Pickett, but they bring in like a Joshua Dobbs or a Jacoby Brissett, to try to get a little bit of competition going. But in terms of straight out replacing Kenny Pickett, I see that as a less likely option at this point, so I'll give it a 75 to 80% chance Kenny Pickett is the starter in 2024. All right, that'll be it for this week's mailbag, guys. Thank you so much to everybody that submitted questions here for this week's mailbag. If you want to get on next week's mailbag, make sure you click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and join us for our Steelers Talk live show next Wednesday right here on the channel.